Hello, my name is Jonathan, and this is my pistol-only run of Bloodborne. This run will cover every single boss in the game that's required to beat it, including the Cleric Beast. The simple rules are, there are no melee weapons of any kind, only projectiles will be used, including items. Additional rules are, there will be no summons or NPC help, there will be no trick weapons that are also guns, and there will be no cannon used, as that kind of screws with my build. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Okay, so getting right into the Cleric Beast, first thing you'll notice, yes, my damage is terrible. That's because I'm using a +2 Hunter's Pistol on New Game Plus. This is not original game Cleric Beast, this is New Game Plus Cleric Beast. I'm fighting it because I didn't actually get any footage of me beating him in the original game because Twitch failed me, like it will fail me all the time. And I thought I'd just show off my strats here while trying to be authentic as possible, but the weapon was doing such pitiful damage. I switched back to my Evelyn, and yeah, the damage it did basically matched the amount of damage the Hunter's Pistol did in New Game, so I considered it viable for showing off how I beat him originally. The way I did that essentially was just back up like that and try and avoid his ankle swings, but honestly, if you're far away it's not going to do that much damage. He's pretty good at getting subtly close to you, this guy, and very unsubtly like that. You want to watch out for that leaping slam attack because it actually has 2 hitboxes. The slamming down and the jump has 2 hitboxes, and you want to be careful not to get hit by them both because it will decimate your health, as you just saw. I also used some cocktails in this fight. You can use items in this run, just not the ones that are physical. That you can't use Shaman Bone Blades because they are physical daggers. But yeah, Molotov cocktails didn't carry this fight. They sort of just gave me a little bit of a leg up that I needed. But yeah, and one thing you want to take stock of as well is the fact that I'm using blood bullets, which is actually essential for this run. Blood bullets is when you press up on the D-pad and get 5 free bullets in exchange for about 1/3 of your health. This basically means it takes your cap of 20 bullets of fight, 30 if you have the rune, to about 270. It gives you basically a lot more bullets provided you manage your health well. It does sort of rule out getting hit, but I feel that in a Souls game it's kind of the ideal is to not get hit at all. So as long as you back up, play it safe, look for the telegraphed attacks and manage your health carefully, you should be alright. The same is kind of the case for Gascoigne, although the thing is, I learned through this fight that Gascoigne is actually the first boss in this game. He isn't the second boss. The Cleric Beast is a secret fight. I think he's an optional secret fight. But you can see from the amount of damage I'm doing to his health that Gascoigne, he is not like superior to the Cleric Beast. The Cleric Beast is harder than Gascoigne. Gascoigne's difficulty is derived mostly from his environment, which is why I always take him up here. I take Beast Form Gascoigne, who is already here because that took such little time because he's a pushover, up here to this little bridge area, and then I jump down to where his wife is, and then down to the floor again and lead him through. You take him along this track, and you're going to be absolutely fine. He will occasionally get stuck there, but it's not reliable enough for consistent kills. Full disclaimer, I did use the music box here, but I only used it a couple of times to get a few free hits in, as at this point I was still kind of green with this method and I wasn't very confident. If I redid this run, I probably wouldn't need it. It was just because I was getting used to not having any physical offensive capabilities. Yes. Mainly when he's a beast, you just want to keep backing up somewhat more urgently than with the Cleric Beast, because unlike the Cleric Beast, Gascoigne doesn't just wibble wobble casually towards you. He will leap and like just be on top of you in a moment's notice like that, and he can chain those attacks together. And one thing that's good about him though is that with that spam, he has actually got a lot of parry potential. You just keep firing, and often you'll get a few parries by accident. And also, one thing that's important to know for this run is if you happen to knock an enemy off balance, if you get them in that parry state and shoot them, it will do extra damage, so it's not useless. Here he got stuck on the wall, and I thought I was going to have to reset, but no, he was just waiting to surprise me because he's a fun guy. Like, as you can see, yeah. Again, this is probably this does get a bit luck based at points because he can do stuff where you cannot recover. But one thing to give you the best chance is do not stay in the graveyard. It's encouraged for you to stay in the graveyard because of the cool gothic factor. But no, lead him up the stairs. You've got way more room to maneuver up here. And also it's lighter, which reduces his fear factor. You can actually see him properly. He's basically not different from a guard variety. Lycanthrop, in terms of attack animations, he's just it's imposing because you were expecting a kin fight and you got a beast fight.
I just wanted to let people know quickly about how I actually grinded in this playthrough. Basically what I did was I went to the central Yarnum Lantern, and I went through the shortcut that you open to get to Gascoigne, and I went to that little house with the guy that always drops 4 Quicksilver bullets. It sounds pretty silly that it's that early in the game, but yeah, that is a pretty optimal grinding spot for Quicksilver bullets. And the guys around him also have a fairly high drop rate of blood vials. Those 2 big guys down a bit lower almost always drop them. So yeah, if you're looking for an early place to grind, and even a late place to grind, it's actually really, really easy. Towards the end of the game, you're gonna do so much damage to those guys. It'll basically be trivial. But anyway, sorry. Bloodstart Beast. Essentially, this boss, my strategy didn't change from the way I usually fight it with a weapon. You just stay behind it. All of its attacks are designed to play off how scary it is, in that it's meant to make you want to run away from it. So they're all chase attacks. Every attack he does moves him forward at least a little bit. So all you need to do is not be in front of him, and you'll be pretty much safe. The only exceptions, well, there's 2 exceptions to this. First off, he has that 3rd phase poison cloud ability, which does sort of instinctively prevent you from wanting to be behind him, even though it does very little damage comparing to how much damage he'll do to you if he gets you from the front. And that little grab attack that I hate and cost me this fight numerous times in the past. Basically, he just does a little hop forward and all of your health is gone, even if you're at full health. So don't get grabbed by that. Stay right behind him, preferably at his back. Don't stay at his side, because some of his attacks can actually get you on a rebound like that. Like 5-fold step forward slash attack can actually get you if you're behind him, if you're at the right angle. So just try and stay behind him and a little bit away. That's my strategy for this fight. I just stay behind him and a little bit back. He isn't that much different from the base game in that if you know what you're doing and can get past the fear element, like this thing looks goddamn terrifying the first time you see it, but honestly it's kind of all bark no bite, this guy. Alright, Vicar Amelia. This is actually the first boss I walked into for testing purposes, and actually defeated completely by accident without any preparation. I was in the area getting smashed for items and thought I'd just go in there and find out how much damage I did with the pistol, and maybe some cocktails. And I actually ended up beating her as long as I strategized. Amelia has a moveset consisting mostly of ankle swings and short range slash attacks. It's kind of the opposite of the Bloodstart Beast in terms of what she actually does. Whereas the Bloodstart Beast chased you away, the Vicar Amelia kind of draws you in with that effervescent threat of healing that she has. The pistol only was actually fairly tensionless here because of the fact that all of her attacks kind of had to come towards me massively telegraphed, except for that one healing ability where she moves away from you. Yeah, that healing element really did scare me when I initially went in, because I was thinking it was going to massively not gel with the fact that I'm fighting with a limited resource that could potentially run out. I thought I was going to do this fight a bunch of times because of that ability. That had actually cost me a fair bit of physical runs in the past, as you can see she's doing it there. But fortunately she only does it twice in this fight, and the second time I actually managed to land a critical with some bone marrow ash that staggers her out of it, which I didn't actually think could happen. I didn't actually think that was possible, but yeah, it happened for me. Anyway, my tips for this fight are probably just stay back and fire. If you see her rearing for a jump or a shockwave attack, stop firing and move either left or right, depending on how much room you've got to move either side. I wouldn't recommend moving back, as the shockwave, I believe, can go the span of the room. She will retreat a little when she's about to heal, so if she does that, that's your tell. That's your indication she's about to start doing it. You should advance the exact same amount that she retreated and wait for just a second until she starts the actual animation of having her hands in front of her face. Be sparing with your bone marrow ash, and don't use any poison knives as they don't work. I was being an idiot here, and this shouldn't give you much trouble. Vicar Amelia was much easier than I thought she'd be, and yeah, let's get right into the witches.
Okay, real boss fight again. The Shadows of Yharnam. These things, they were quite interesting. Getting back to the kin fights, which I found interesting if a little bit easy, because kin just takes so much damage from blood tinge in this game, and now that I've got the Evelyn, it's just trivial to cause massive damage to humanoid enemies. The way I like to do this is I go for the sword shadow one first, because he's the biggest damage dealer of the trio. The second guy with the flamethrower will mostly just try and distract you, and the third guy will get some chip damage in with his fireballs. What you want to do is you want to just proc this snake transformation they do, so that by the time they do transform, you packed so much damage into the sword guy that he's basically already dead. This will leave the flamethrower guy unprotected by his friend, so you have a method to isolate him from the fireball guy by putting the big headstone between you and him. That way you can take some pot shots at the flamethrower guy without being bombarded with fireballs. I was lucky in this fight, he didn't do the stretchy snake hand thingy. If he had done that, that probably would have taken off a sizable chunk of my health. But he didn't do it this time, which was handy. For some reason I'm not dodging those. I have no idea why. I'm talking about this in the future. For some reason I'm just not dodging those fireballs. I guess it's just because I'm so focused on not missing, because these things are, I'm sure you've noticed, these things are dodgy dodges. They like to dodge left and right, and you can always just conveniently make a bullet miss, which is just, it grinds on my nerves. It's just so annoying. But yeah, that one goes down without too much delay. And here the coolest thing in this run happens. He summons the snakes, and I literally just clutch it. I don't even intend to dodge that perfectly. I just do. Can't even touch me at this point. And yeah, this guy was being a bit too liberal with the dodges, so I get a little impatient and I throw some Molotovs at him to get him into that crevice there. Other than situations like this, items such as the Molotov cocktails are not viable for smaller enemies. They will almost always miss. I do not advise that. I only used it as a maneuvering tactic, and now I'm finishing off with the bullets, and seeing as now he is in the crevice, even dodging will not help him, and he's down. Okay, everyone's favourite ROM, the Vacuous Spider. This actually wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. That's kind of becoming my catchphrase for this run. As you can see, I'm doing a fairly large amount of damage to it. That's mostly because I've got the Evelyn equipped now, and I believe it's something like +6 or 7. My main problem with this fight was the spiderlings and how they prevent me from locking on. The solution to that, of course, is to stop locking on, just run up to him and just shoot him quickly in the side. That and getting hit by that thing, that floor spike iceberg thing, kept getting me really easily. Apart from that, it was pretty much just positioning this fight. A lot of these fights are just about positioning yourself to get off hits and get out unscathed. My standard strategy for this fight is to run in, do as much damage as I can without getting hurt, and then run out again and rinse and repeat. That makes a return here. Essentially, you just run in, shoot him 2 or 3 times, and then get out before he does an AoE or that floor attack. And eventually, when you get to the later points in the game, the fight, he'll start doing that, the slamming down. There are so many points in this fight where I almost die, but just make it out unscathed. I can't even stress how lucky I got here. This will take you a few tries, I guarantee. I beat it on my first try, but it was pure luck. I will not take any kind of claim for being like a great Bloodborne player. I'm okay, but I'm not like some god or anything. I went in and all of the attacks that should have taken all my health in one go just left a slither, and the spiderlings that are normally so annoying doing attacks like that headbutt thing, like 3 at a time, just completely just decimating you from off screen. They didn't do that this time. I don't know. I think maybe they took pity on me, seeing I was taking on Rom the goddamn Vacuous Spider with a pistol and nothing else, and decided to just be nice to me. See, that should have killed me, but it didn't. It was insane. I have no idea why I survived it, but I guess I was just lucky. And yes, here I just position well, take care of where I'm standing, and don't get overconfident with the bullets. Okay, the one reborn. This was actually the first boss fight in this game that I legitimately panicked over, because it was the first one that almost made me lose all my bullets. And the first thing you gotta do is come up here and waste 12 bullets on these annoying bell ringers who will attack you if you don't. And honestly, you don't need that extra like shit flying around. The main problem with this boss is I was worried it was gonna outlast me, because it kept doing little bits of damage that weren't killing me, that were forcing me to heal. And of course, as we all know, once the bullets are gone, I have to use blood vials to serve as my offense, and once the blood vials are gone, I can't really fight back, and I don't want to have to lower my gun Obi-Wan Kenobi style and just let this thing kill me, because this is actually my first attempt with the boss battle. It's similar to Rom in this. I walked in, although I did walk in intending to kill it, unlike Rom, but this is my first attempt, and I do actually get it. But I really come close this time. This time it is very, very nail-biting. I legit thought I was going to run out of abilities to fight it, and I just have to run away. Or at the very worst, horror of horrors, actually resort to using pebbles to fight this thing. That's why coming up here and getting these bullets is very, very useful, because I was thinking I'd save it for like a rainy day, but then I thought I'll try and be smart and come up here and shoot the weak point on its head, which doesn't work. It just gets a bunch of free hits in on me, the opposite of what I was trying to make happen. But yeah, in the end I decided to try and go for that sensitive part, because that's actually something I found out playing the game casually, is that some of the bosses like Ebrietas and Amygdala, if you go for the weak spot with a ranged weapon, often it'll do more damage than actual physical weapons. But that doesn't really work with this boss, because that little nub in front of it is actually, it normally takes the brunt of the damage. But as you can see, it actually forced me to be creative with the projectiles here that weren't bullets. I was using Molotov cocktails, but then this thing shit all over the floor, so I had to leave. And what's good about this strategy actually for the one reborn is that AoE will never hit you, because you're always conveniently out of reach. But yeah, here you see me using the delayed Molotovs that I got in the DLC. They do a bit of chip damage, but nothing substantial.
I'm also using up the last of my bone marrow ash, which you can use more freely now because you have access to a cathedral ward and the cosmic hunter badge, which will allow you to buy one. You'd allow you to buy them at the hunter's store for 3,600 echoes each, which isn't that bad in the end game grind. But yeah, here I am standing like an idiot, getting smashed to death, and I'm supposed to be, you know, circling around the boss, saying like an actual skilled player. But no, that's just not something we do here. I'm saving this last bone marrow ash, I think, for a rainy day, not realising that this is the rainy day because I've got no blood vials left and I'm about to die. And this thing is very eager to smash me to death. Yeah, it was literally came in clutch. That was way too close. I was not wise with that. Look at that. Look at those odds. That was a close one.
Okay, Mikolash was probably the worst fight in this game, in the vanilla game, just for how psychologically taxing it was, but for this run it was probably the thing that made me the most angry, because every time I failed I had to go through this really drawn out process again and again and again. But in the end my strategy essentially boiled down to this. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. You get this little corridor you run around in with him. What you want to do is you want to keep him running around in that circuit without making him go into the room where you have to fight him man to man. And the way you do that is you wait for him to tire like that, and you equip some bone marrow ash to your Evelyn, which should be +8 or +9 by now, and then you shoot him when he tires, and that should knock him out of the animation where he's going into the room. And you want to prolong this as long as you can. You can't actually do it forever, but you can do it for a while, and just try and get him to almost half health, so that when you go in there to finish him off like I'm doing here, he's relatively low health. It's not a big deal to just, you know, knock him down to half health so you can get out of this room, because this room will eat you alive. And then go off over this way. In this run I'm actually going down to get the moon rune quickly, and I'm just going to be quiet for a second because just so you can listen to Mikolash's fun voice. Okay, we're back. Yeah, he's fun to listen to. Basically what you do here is, in this new room, is you get him to jump to the mirror, go down to this room just before the place where the door falls, and shoot him. And the method I learned, or what I was going to attempt, was to shoot him, then follow him through to the mirror down here, where he would jump in, and then the method would repeat. Like, he would be in this room with that in front of a door, I'd shoot him again, I'd chase him up here, he'd run into the mirror again. But he came in this room, jumped down and stopped, and I shot him and he respawned. And I found out I could just rinse and repeat this, standing in this very spot with blood bullets, and it would not cause him to teleport somewhere else. This essentially broke the boss, but honestly, after he killed me with the Call Beyond, like for the 5th time, and I had to grind back all of my stuff, I think you can understand why I was just done playing this one the way the devs intended, because this boss is just too psychologically taxing. It takes way too much time, and it's all based on just absurd luck. I never want to play this guy again.
Okay, the wet nurse, whilst most people find it quite difficult, in this run is simplicity itself if you could fire the right direction. Essentially what you do is you just buy some bone marrow ash, as much as you can get, and just take pot shots at it. Most of its attacks can't actually reach you, and if you're really desperate, use some throwing knives like I do here. They're doing nothing. They're doing 31 damage apiece, don't even bother. So yeah, this boss is really easy, so I just wanted to talk quickly about this run and the route I took. Essentially, what you want to do is the earliest thing you want to do is get to Canehurst Castle, because then you need because that's where you get the Evelyn, which if you pick the Blood Tinge starter, will carry you for the rest of the game. You should be able to use it without needing to level up any kind of stats. So yeah, that's where you're going first. To do that, you need to have Amelia and the Witches of Hemwick dead, because they're the two gatekeepy things. You need to kill Amelia to get to the Hidden Woods, to get to the Yusefka Clinic, to get the Canehurst Summons, and you need to kill the witches to proc the thing that takes you there. But yeah, that's how you do that. The Wet Nurse is it's just so little of note, because look at this thing. I'm just laying into it. This was really disappointing. I really was expecting more of a challenge. And yeah, that kind of goes for Garen too. You'll see in the footage. He is kind of kicking my ass, but that's the thing with Garen. He's very similar to the Wet Nurse in that he will do a lot of damage, but none of it's going to kill you. You will get away, and then he just spends these periods where he's just doing nothing, walking towards you like he's some sort of like threatening, like overbearing boss fight, but he's just a pushover. You just wait for him to switch to the sword, and that's when things get a little bit frightening because he gets faster. But Garen has a real trouble putting out any kind of offense against a Blood Tinge firearm only build. It was rather disappointing to find out that the strategy that seemed so absurdly impossible when I first started playing this game, to just shoot all the enemies to death, actually not only was doable, but was actually kind of obvious in the end. Like, people talked to me on Facebook and said, "Oh, this is madness, you can't do a Bloodborne run with just the pistol. That's ridiculous." But if you think about it, is it really ridiculous? I mean, it's a gun, for God's sake. You're telling me that an axe or like a sword is better than a gun? In real life, that wouldn't make sense. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just proving that reality isn't it. Bloodborne isn't an example of total unreality, in that guns are better than weapons. And in a fight between a man with a scythe and a gun, the gunman wins. That's the rule of the jungle. Too bad this fight wasn't very long. And yeah, here we are with the last boss, the Moon Presence. We got all the way here just using a gun, which totally makes sense. Yeah, this one actually isn't that difficult either. I mean, look at the damage I'm doing. I'm doing even more damage to this thing than I was to Garen. The only thing that gets me is that tail attack and this other thing. It does this thing like right there where it takes away all my health. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the other thing it can do. It can also block my blood vial usage. It's the only boss in the game, to my knowledge, that can do that. I think Ligarius can also do that, but yeah, see here, now my blood vials are gone, and boom, there goes all my health. So now that I'm out of bullets, I can't even defend myself, so I have to run away, because I can't heal. Then I can't heal, so I can't give up health to get blood bullets. This thing is the only one that actually challenged my blood bullet strategy, making it feel like the true final boss, because this was a battle of who could like control blood better. And clearly it's me, because look at this thing, it's decimated and gone. There is Bloodborne with just a pistol. Makes total sense. Thanks for watching. This was actually really fun to do. Really nice twist of the mechanics. I don't know what else I'm going to do for challenges, but I am looking forward to twisting this game's mechanics even more. So I'll see you on Twitch and on YouTube. Cheers.